Well, what about modifying data? This is where an update statement comes into play. Now, our update statement allows us to modify existing values. The basic syntax looks just like you see right there, update the table, and then it's a series of column equals new values after a set statement, and then of course the where condition. As I mentioned before, if you leave off the where statement, that's going to update every single value in the database. So be very careful before you go running off and doing your update statement. Make sure that you always have a where statement. And in fact, oddly enough, doing an update is probably the most dangerous thing that you can do. Because when you do a delete, there's an awful lot of different things that'll actually potentially wind up saving you. Because if I've got different relationships set up, one of the things that SQL is going to do by default anyway is not allow me to delete anything that's part of a relationship. That's not true with an update statement, because I could be updating things that are not part of relationships, and as a result I can wind up updating the entire table. So be very careful about that. You'll also notice that values could be calculated from existing values in the table. So if we wanted to maybe do a 10% increase in prices, then we could say set list price equal to list price times 1.1, and that would then do a 10% increase. And we also do have the ability for default and null values if we want to do defaults and nulls. You may also want to perform a join in order to update your database. For example, maybe what I wanted to do is I wanted to perform a sort of maybe like a restore. Maybe we had a table called old context where we had some old information. We want to bring that back in. Then the syntax for that is to say update set and then go with our from line and then just do the rest like a normal join statement. And what's going to happen behind the scenes is that SQL will automatically go find the appropriate values. Let's take a look at update in action. Again, I'm going to bring up the Management Studio here. And what I want to do is I want to do a price increase on all bikes inside of the product table. Now, the little problem that I have is that bike is listed inside of categories, while my products table is going to be pointing at product subcategories, and then product subcategories then points at categories. So I'm going to need some form of a join. Well, let's start off by again saying update, production, product, and I'm just going to put an aware line down at the bottom. That's going to be my safety net. And then I'm going to say set, and let's go with list price equal to list price times 1.1. And then down below, I'm going to do from. And I'm going to say production, product P, inner join, production, product, subcategory, PS on P, product, subcategory ID equals PS, product, subcategory ID. And now I'm going to put in my where statement. And this where statement is going to be on the join portion. So we'll say where our PS product category ID equals 1, and that'll go get our bikes. Now what I'm also going to do before we execute this is I'm going to update one other column here. Let's do the modified date, and let's make sure we set that equal to get date. So that way we can very easily see what it is that we've modified. Okay. So, again, up at the very top, I've got my update, my set, and then we've gone a little bit more advanced. A simpler statement would have just been something like this, where we say where, and then we go ahead and we say our product subcategory ID equals 1, for example. But in our case, we've gone ahead and gone straight to the from line, and so now you're going to notice that this will update just my bikes. So I'm going to do an execute here. So you'll notice 97 rows affected. How can we actually see this? Well, we could do this. Let's say select. Let's go with the name. Let's go with the product subcategory ID. And let's go with the modify date from production product. And if we execute this, what you're now going to notice is if we scroll on down a little bit, actually let's make our lives easier. Let's do an order by. Let's say order by, modify date, descending. There we go. Now we're cooking with gas. And now you'll notice that sure enough, all of my bikes have been updated. But if we scroll on down, you'll notice that all of our non-bikes have not been updated. Now, update will allow us to modify existing rows. How do we get rid of rows?